Alright, tonight's one of those nights where I'm here at the warehouse doing these kind of things. When all my friends are out doing party kind of things, I've got these kind of things to work on. But basically, we're getting this car ready to dyno and finish its tune-up finally. But like most projects they start with a teardown. You know, just when you think you're about to build something, you gotta tear it apart before you build it again. So, we're gonna call these Dyno Prepisodes. So during these Prepisodes, we are going to take this car, my 02 WRX. It's a fully built, closed deck 2-liter, from where it is now to where it's gonna be in about a month. So if you like Subarus, stay tuned. If you don't like Subarus, stay tuned too. It's gonna be a good time. Good news is, we just got this new camera, so you can actually see what we're talking about. Check it out. So, why do we have to tear apart before we rebuild? I'll see if I can show you in here, but there's a few things I overlooked when building this a couple years ago. I built the turbo system when I had a 5-speed transmission in it, and the 5-speed is tiny. Like, there is so much more room in the tunnel area and where the exhaust goes. So now my exhaust is super close to the 6-speed transmission, and I don't want it heating up the transmission fluid the whole time I drive it. So see how close that is right there? It's not touching, but it's close. So we're gonna put some of that reflective tape up along the transmission. I have to degrease it, make sure this stuff will even stick. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. And then that'll reflect some of the heat away from the transmission, hopefully keep the fluid cooler, stuff like that. So the second thing we're gonna fix, again, has to do with heat. Heat and high temps are the worst thing for engines. This is your hot side of your turbo. It gets super hot. Sometimes you'll even see it glowing red. We're going to get this thing covered up with a heat blanket. And then we're also going to get this oil feed line covered with a fire shield all the way down to where it starts, and the oil return all the way down to where it returns the oil to my engine. I've been watching some Rad Dan videos. What up, Dan? Thanks for showing us how to build 6 Supras. And I've been running this setup for a while, but I just want to build a more reliable setup, and I want to keep some of that heat out. I don't want to be melting lines when we go to the dyno and when we're using it at any point after that. So I just want to do it right, clean some of this stuff up, and make it a better build. Luckily, when I built this turbo setup, I used V-bands on the hot side of the turbo. So the up pipe and the down pipe both connect with V-bands, which if you haven't used before, it means there's one bolt to connect it, and the clamp is designed to just squeeze, you know, your down pipe and your turbo, or your up pipe and your turbo together. And it makes it really easy because there's only one bolt on each part to take it off. So if you look right there, that's a V-band. On a lot of other turbos, you'll see, you know, multiple bolts all around this and a gasket. Best part about V-bands? No gaskets to fix every time. Woo! The money that you save in gaskets alone are enough to cover the V-bands. They're more expensive, but you don't have to keep buying gaskets. We're gonna try time-lapse mode on this new camera while we take out the turbo. now that the turbo's out, it's a good time to show you what we got here. This is a Precision 5858 turbo. I think it's rated for about 500 horsepower. We'll be pushing around 400 wheel with it, which is pretty good for a 2-liter Subaru. I know it's only 400, you know, compared to all the big dogs, it's not that much. But with a gutted out car, all-wheel drive, it's pretty fun. So, also a good time to show you, so you don't ask me in the future, I'm not very good at fabricating. Look at those welds. Need a new turbo mount bracket. Found the problem I mentioned earlier with the leaky oil. Right here, our oil return line for the turbo. You can see it. It's loose. Basically, it was a little bit loose. It's not like we were losing a lot of oil, but it's just messy and there's oil down there. You don't want oil by the exhaust and the headers where it's gonna catch on fire or anything. So we're gonna get that fixed, get some fire sleeve around it so it also stays cooler and doesn't melt anything. So now we just gotta get the wideband out, the wideband O2 sensor out so we can take the downpipe out so we can get that away from the transmission and get that heat shield on there next time once we have it. Worst part about having a lowered car and being too lazy to take the side skirts off. Oh. Unless you're on the side of the road stranded and like Toyota Camry, like you shouldn't be using one of these jacks. But you also know when you're working on cars that you built yourself, you gotta make what you got work. So we're gonna get under the car, we're gonna take the downpipe out and get it done. Alright, like we said when we started this video tonight, that our goal was tear down. And we got the turbo out, got the downpipe out, found our problems where our leaks were, and what we need to insulate so that nothing melts when we hit the dyno. So, stoked for that dyno appointment in a couple weeks. We'll take you along, show you what it's like to dyno tune your car, and you're gonna meet Alex Pasquin, one of my buddies at Ignition Logic, who's gonna tune this for me. So, stay tuned. Thanks for joining us, guys. Later.